Hey, it's Tim, K5OHY. In this video, I'm going to talk about this antenna, which is a V Dipole. I'll talk about why I wanted to build one, some of the advantages, disadvantages, and then I'll show you how to build a very inexpensive version using a CB mirror mount and a 3D printed hub. These V Dipoles are extremely popular right now. There's a bunch of commercially available options, but they're kind of expensive. They usually start at a couple $100s and go up from there. They're comprised of two 17-foot whips, which can be adjusted for a resonant dipole from 20 meters all the way to 2 meters. My favorite portable antennas are center-fed dipoles and doublets. They're simple, inexpensive, and they work really well, especially if you can get them up high enough off the ground. But the problem is, a lot of the places I operate, I don't have the space to deploy one of those antennas. For example, I'm here at my local park, and there's just not room to put up one of those antennas. So I typically use verticals here. And they work okay, but here in town, I tend to pick up a little bit more noise on a vertical. There's a lot more interference here. And that can make for a very frustrating activation. A lot of times people calling me are right at the noise level, and it's very difficult to pull out their call sign. The V Dipole solves both of those problems. It doesn't take up as much horizontal space on the ground, and they tend to pick up less noise, which can make for a much more pleasant activation. Now, I often see these dipoles deployed just 3 or 4 feet above the ground, and that poses two issues in my opinion. First of all, dipoles low to the ground have mostly high angle radiation, and that's not really ideal on higher frequencies. Remember, NVIS only works on 40 meters and below typically. On 20 meters and higher frequencies, that high angle radiation can actually pass through the ionosphere instead of getting reflected downward. The other issue is dipoles have their high current point in the center of the antenna. And if that's close to the ground, you can actually have ground losses. From what I've read, you really need to get a dipole up about 0.2 wavelength or a quarter wavelength to improve the efficiency of this antenna. Now, even at a quarter wavelength high, these V dipoles seem to work pretty well. If you look at the radiation pattern, now it's starting to get a little bit lower angles of radiation and some slight broadside gain. If you compare it to a quarter wave vertical over average soil, the quarter wave vertical looks a little bit better at very low angles, but the dipole has more gain at higher angles. And if you compare it to a quarter wave vertical over poor soil, the dipole actually has very similar radiation patterns at low angles, but has more gain at higher angles. And of course, if you can get this V dipole up higher, closer to a half wavelength, now you're going to start to get even lower angles of radiation with more broadside gain. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to build one of these V dipoles very inexpensively using a CB mirror mount and a 3D printed hub. Now, a while back, I made an antenna called the Savvy Yagi, and I even did a short video about it. It's a really cool design that uses two V dipoles for a 2-element Yagi. And essentially, you can have the parasitic element as either a reflector or a director. And that was a design by Jake KC7WXD. And this is one of the 3D printed hubs that he used. It simply slides over a 1-inch aluminum tubing for the boom, and then the whips screw into these heat inserts. So I got the idea of just using one of the extra hubs I had laying around and securing it to a CB mirror mount. And that worked fine. The problem is, with wind and over time, I thought that there might be a lot of lateral movement and it would loosen. So Jake was nice enough to put the CAD files for that hub online. So I just modified it and essentially have a recessed area, and so it kind of slides over the CB mirror mount and it provides a much more secure fit. So all you need to do is purchase a CB mirror mount. I got these from Amazon. There's two varieties. There's one with a slightly fatter coupling nut and one with a skinnier coupling nut. These are about $11 or $12, and I have a model for each one of these. Links are all down in the description. And then you just need to 3D print one of these hubs. Now, I used PETG, but ASA might be a good choice as well. And I'd recommend using at least 50% infill. I used 80%, but you could even do 100%. And then once you get this printed out, you need to use one of these heated inserts. Now you can use either M10 heat inserts for the cheap Chinese whips, or you can use a 3/8 × 24 heat insert for the standard size whips. Now what I did is I actually used the 3/8 × 24 heat inserts, and then I use adapters and use the cheap Chinese whips. I'll show you that here in a minute. Now, it does take a little patience if you have a small soldering iron like I do to melt these into the hub. So just give it some time to heat up. Now, once you have the 3D printed hub, all you gotta do is slide that over the CB mirror mount, get a bolt. You can use a 3/8 × 24, 1 inch to 1.5 inch bolt. Go ahead and secure it. And then you just need to run a ring terminal and a wire from the bolt to one side of the hub, and then another ring terminal from the base to the other side. And then you've got your dipole, and it's got the SO239 connection on the bottom. Here's a quick look at the V dipole that I've been using. You can see the 3D printed hub, and I'm actually using the inexpensive Chinese whips. You can get a pair of these for about $42 on Amazon, and these are M10 thread, so they required an adapter because I use the 3/8 × 24 heat inserts. But what I like about that is the adapters keep the ring terminals in place, so when I unscrew the whips, the wires do stay in place. So you can see I've got the wire going from the center bolts to one of the whips, and then another wire running from the base of the CB mirror mount to the other whip. And then it's got your SO239 connection. Now I am running a choke. A lot of people don't run chokes with dipoles. I think that's personal preference. And then I've got it mounted on a painter's pole. This is a 24-foot painter's pole, I believe. I've had it a couple of years, and I've used it with a bunch of different antennas. These are pretty convenient. They've got the locking mechanisms to make them easy to extend. And then that slid into a drive-on mast holder that I had a buddy build me, and this thing is awesome. It's probably one of my favorite pieces of portable equipment. So I just got this new mast in the mail yesterday, and I'm kind of excited to try it out soon. This is a 30-foot painter's pole. It's carbon fiber, and I think it's going to work pretty well for this antenna. These V dipoles don't weigh a ton, so I think it'll be fairly secure on this mount. So I'll be able to get it up closer to a half wavelength, and I think it's going to work really well. All right, as you can see here, I've got the dipole deployed. It's about 22 feet off the ground. It seems to work really well at this height. This is my dad up in Omaha, Nebraska. This is on a vertical dipole. So now I'm going to send out a test for the reverse beacon network to see where the signal's getting picked up on each antenna. So I'll send a test with 20 watts on the quarter wave vertical and then on the V dipole, and we'll just see the difference.
Due to some camera issues, I actually completed this test on 2 consecutive days. Here's the data from the quarter wave vertical on the first day. You can see I hit 16 skimmers, and the average signal noise ratio was 11.5 dB, and the max was 19. On the dipole, I hit 26 skimmers. The average signal noise ratio was 10.8 dB, and the max was 24 dB. On the second day, here is the quarter wave vertical. I hit 14 skimmers. The average was 15.3, and the max signal noise ratio was 31 dB. And then on the dipole on the second day, I hit 25 skimmers. The average was 15.8, and the max was 42. So as you can tell, I was hitting more skimmers with the dipole on both days, and that's been my experience. I tend to make more contacts with the dipole than with quarter wave vertical.
Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you want to build one of these V dipoles, all the information is down in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. 73.